Thank you for joining me, everyone. If you're in a Super Tuesday state, like I am today in Massachusetts, let's get out and vote. And let's vote for Donald Trump for President of the United States. If there was ever a president who deserved a second term, it is President Trump. In the face of unprecedented opposition, and when I say opposition, I'm not talking about the normal kind that we're used to seeing in this country, where the opposing party brings up issues and a bill of particulars and debates with the president and goes after policies that they don't like. No, that's not how this has worked. This has been an attempt from day one to overthrow this government. This has been a seditious attempt to literally replace the government, a coup d'etat. And President Trump has come through it with flying colors. It's a testament to his own fortitude and his own strength, but also to the strength of our system. And we all ought to be grateful for that, whether we agree with him or not. We don't want to have a country that's operating like a banana republic where you have some coup meisters come in every so often and overthrow the regime. And that's exactly what was attempted here. They tried to exploit this in-choate and inexplicable hatred for Trump. And they tried to use it to their advantage in their attempt to try to have him removed from office, and they failed, thank God. But if you take a look at his presidency, by any standards, any objective standards, it has been one of the most successful presidencies in American history, possibly the most successful, maybe with the exception of Washington and Lincoln and James K. Polk and a few others. President Trump has gotten through just about everything that he attempted. We can look at almost any issue. On the domestic side, on our national side, he has presided over the cutting taxes, the removal of onerous and unnecessary regulation on business, which has allowed people to begin to get jobs, and for the first time in many cases. He's reduced unemployment and he's reduced welfare, particularly for minorities, because they now have jobs where they didn't before. And they're now becoming a part of the American dream where they couldn't before because of the putrid economy. President Trump's actions have had a direct role in the improvement of the economy. Those things don't happen by accident. It's not just some cycle like the left likes to claim. Those are because of actions. President Trump has asserted American economic sovereignty with a new NAFTA agreement that favors American industry and labor, with an agreement with China, which begins the process of protecting American intellectual property, which helps farmers with business overseas, and which puts in place reasonable and sustainable tariffs, which improves our treasury, which protects American industry and labor. He's gotten rid of that onerous climate change agreement, which had nothing to do with the climate. They wouldn't have pulled a single molecule of carbon out of the oxygen atmosphere. All it would have done would transfer billions of dollars of American money to some shadowy so-called green groups around the world. It was a huge scam. Thank God he got out of that. Not to mention these trade agreements that don't favor American industry, like the TPP. He refused to ratify that. That would have become part of our law. It was sovereignty eroding. On the international front, President Trump has asserted American sovereignty. That is a democratic idea. That is a progressive idea. That means that we as a nation and we as a people have control to a greater degree over our own lives and over our own destiny. That's progress. That's not an anachronism. And yet past presidents, the Bushes, Obama, many others, viewed sovereignty as something that was an anachronism. It was an old-fashioned idea that should be phased out. President Trump, by reasserting American sovereignty and by asking other nations of the world to assert their own sovereignty, has moved the world closer to a concert of nations, where nation states operating in their own national interest then interact with other nation states and negotiate things like trade agreements and diplomacy and whatnot in a manner that benefits the people of their own respective nations. That's a progressive idea. And in that vein, President Trump has gotten European partners to pay for more of their own self-defense, which is an incredible accomplishment, and which is something that past presidents, going all the way back to Truman, had talked about doing but didn't do. He has defeated ISIS without any American loss of life. He took out terrorists like al-Baghdadi and Soleimani. These are people who are killing Americans, and done so in a way that did not cause war, and that was very strategic in that it did not cause, or it caused a minimal loss of collateral innocent life. He went after the enemy themselves, and he defeated them and took them out. That's the modern way of dealing with war. It's a moral way, actually. He moved the American embassy in Jerusalem to Jerusalem, something that Congress approved of and that has been in place since the 1980s. President Trump did it. And by doing so, he helped reassert our longstanding relationship with the state of Israel. And I think that in general, he has improved our posture in the world. Look at the reception he received in India. Look at the reception he received in South Korea. Stepping over the DMZ into North Korea, he began the process of the gradual, slow, and halting, but yet movable rapprochement between the two Koreas. You know, President Trump almost universally, if you look at any relations with other nations, our posture has improved. So, President Trump deserves a second term, more than any president running for a second term that I can think of in modern times. And I'm proud to have cast my vote for him today. I hope that others consider doing the same. As far as engaging in, this sort of tricky business of switching over to the Democratic Party to vote for Bernie Sanders, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't want to see Bernie Sanders become the Democratic nominee because I think it's bad for this country to have someone who is an outright socialist heading up one of the major parties. I think that President Trump will beat whoever the nominee is, whether it be Sanders, certainly, or whether it be Biden, who has serious problems with corruption, or whether it be Bloomberg, who basically tried to buy the election. I think all three of them are weak candidates. I don't think President Trump will have any problem defeating them. So, no, I don't want to see Bernie Sanders. I don't think that's good for this country. If it happens, then the Democrats will have gotten what they deserved, as Laura Ingraham so accurately pointed out on her show, in that by kowtowing to the squad and the radicals on the left, the Democrats, they set the stage for the takeover by their party of radical leftists. So I don't feel sorry for them. I know they're trying to stop him now. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't care. I mean, I do care. I don't want Sanders, but ultimately I don't care because I'm a supporter of President Trump and I'm proud to be. So all I can say is get out and vote if you're in one of the battleground states. It's a great honor to vote. I think an obligation as a citizen to do so. There are very few things that we're really obligated to do as citizens in our Constitution, and voting is one of them. You don't have to. It's not mandatory, nor should it be. But it is an obligation. It's a civic obligation. So I hope you do it. I personally endorse Trump. I hope you vote for Trump. But even if you don't vote for Trump, get out and vote. And as the Irish of Boston used to say, vote early and vote often. I'm kidding. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. By the way, check out my website, charlesmoskowitz.com. I am building a site there which is going to have live feeds from many of the great conservative news organizations and opinion pages, so that if you go there, and it should happen literally within a day or two, you'll be able to get the top current news from all of these sites in one site, that being my site anyway. So And I'm also proud to use that site to archive my show and keep my books there, which are all there, and my blogs, many of which were deleted by Google, but I'm putting them back in, at least the ones that I think I can save. So anyway, that's charlesmoskowitz.com. Check it out. And thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.